we make. We would really love it if you took a second and hit that subscribe button.
Harvested produce was washed, stored, and cooled in the small rock building on the floodplain below.
The following information is found on the Mills Canyon Historical Marker and online at hmdb.org. Orchard Ranch was established by Melvin W. Wills and is notable for its skillfully engineered irrigation system. The ranch cultivated 12 miles of land along the Canadian River in New Mexico. Vegetable gardens and thousands of fruit trees flourished in the 1800s. A destructive flood wiped out the orchards, irrigation systems, buildings, and other improvements in 1904. Traffic on I-40 West came to a standstill as the boys experienced a sandstorm that blinded their view. They hit Grants, New Mexico and headed south on 53 through the Zuni Mountains. Once they got to Fence Lake, they drove about 50 miles of gravel roads and entered Arizona. The boys spent a few weeks at our off-grid cabin in Arizona. While they were in the area, they went over to Pine Top and visited the Arizona Coffee Company. Our 2018 Jeep Wrangler hit 100,000 miles. Joe also swung by Pine Top Brewing to pick up some craft beer. They set up camp at Woods Canyon Lake in the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest. They continued their overland journey north to the south rim of the Grand Canyon.
What do you think, bud?
It's beautiful.
The boys stumbled upon this megalithic monument near the Grand Canyon. There were no signs indicating what exactly this place was, but it was still a pretty cool thing to see. If you happen to know what this place is, please drop it in the comments. The boys were continuing to travel north when they witnessed a helicopter conduct an emergency landing. Josh immediately made friends with the pilots while they waited for assistance. Later that day, the boys had just set up camp at the Vermillion Cliffs when this happened.
It's coming. It is coming for us.
Joe was in the middle of trying to stake down the guy wires for the awning.
Can you reach it? Or hold on to the pole. Stand on the bottom of that pole. Hang on. Hang on to it.
There was no shortage of cool things to see in the Glen Canyon National Recreation Area, just outside of Page, Arizona. This roadrunner visited the boys at camp every morning. The epic views went on for miles and miles. The next stop on their journey was Lone Rock, which is also located in Glen Canyon National Recreation Area, but on the Utah side. Balanced rock is simply a huge boulder that fell on top of softer ground and stayed there. Over the years, the ground has eroded around the base, yet the rock still remains. The following information is from the National Park Service website for Lee's Ferry. In September of 1870, John D. Lee, a leader in the Mormon Church, was sent to the Utah-Arizona border to establish a ferry on the Paria River. John Lee was a practicing polygamist, and he built homes for his multiple families and named the ranch Lonely Dell. Later, in 1874, Lee's Ferry Fort was constructed as a result of mounting tensions between the Mormons and the Navajo. In 1877, John Lee was executed via firing squad for his role in the Mountain Meadows Massacre, which had occurred in 1857. Over 120 American Western immigrants from Marion, Crawford, Carroll, and Johnson counties in Arkansas were part of the Fancher-Baker immigrant wagon train and were killed at the hands of John Lee and Isaac Hite.
I don't trust this bridge.
After the tour of Lee's Ferry, the boys were back on the road. The desert landscape unfolded before them like a vast, sun-scorched canvas. As they drove, jagged mountains clawed at the horizon, their raw slopes stark against the endless blue sky. Every curve revealed a new vista, a testament to the stark beauty and quiet power of the desert. As the boys continued to explore the Lee's Ferry area, they found a steam engine made by Nagel Engine and Boiler Works of Erie, Pennsylvania, which was used by Charles H. Spencer during his attempt to extract gold in the area in 1910. The idea was to pump water and air down a pipe into the ground and force gold up to where it could be extracted. Unfortunately, Spencer's attempt was a failure. Josh made friends with the science team from the National Park Service before they departed on a multi-day trip up the river. Though Josh has autism, he is a very social young man and never meets a stranger. Overlanding, road schooling, and meeting people of all ages and backgrounds has helped him immensely with his social skills and confidence. The boys took a break from the trails and spent the night at Lee's Ferry Lodge, which is located at the base of the Vermilion Cliffs Wilderness Recreation Area. They were meeting up with Cottywomple Overland the next morning and wanted to do laundry, shower, and fill up their jerry cans before heading out into the wild again. The next morning, they headed to the rally point and awaited the arrival of the rest of the convoy. While they were waiting to meet up with Cottywomple Overland, Joe and Josh assisted a car stuck in the sand. He had been stuck there since 5:30 in the morning, and it was around 2 in the afternoon when the boys came across the car and the driver. The car was high-centered, so they assisted him by digging his car out of the sand.
Fancy meeting you out here in the middle of the desert.
What's up, brother?
How are you, man?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Isn't that beautiful coming in here?
Oh, yeah.
I hear you, Papa Bear.
See, in front of me is Cottywomple. The Rainmakers. I've been out here for weeks. No visible moisture. They just showed up. Look what's on the horizon. Isn't that something?
After meeting up at the rally point, Joe, Josh, Bill, Deb, and their friend Sam made their way to a dispersed campsite on the north rim of the Grand Canyon. Kelly and Tracy Letourneau met up with them at camp later that evening.
It'll probably be back after dinner time. It's out feeding right now.
That's fairly sizable.
I think it's mountain lion.
That's a cat.
Joe woke up a bit earlier than everyone else the next morning, so he wandered around the area and captured some photos and video of their camp. After everyone woke up and had breakfast, they packed up camp and set out on the trails.
Probably doesn't work. And 5 miles an hour up through here using one another this Thursday. Oh yeah, so you can slow down just a little bit. Keep in reverse. I don't know that you have reverse lights. Bumped it neutral and let it roll back. You're right, okay.
They traveled on dirt and gravel roads to get to the highway, then went into the north gate of the Grand Canyon National Park.
Look here, that's buffalo. Yeah.
Once they were in the park, everyone grabbed a shower at the established campground bathhouse. They then proceeded to the ranger station to obtain a camping permit for a primitive campsite.
One out? Oh, hell no. Quite a view up here, huh?
Once they arrived at the campsite, however, they found that it wasn't big enough to accommodate everyone, so they exited the park and entered the Kaibab National Forest to try to find another campsite. They traveled northwest through the Jacob Lake area on Highway 89 alternate. After a very long day of driving, they finally set up camp late that night.
It's been a long day. That's for sure.
The next day, the crew went back through the Jacob Lake area and the Kaibab National Forest, then headed east toward the Vermillion Cliffs and the White Pocket Recreation Area. There are multiple signs warning drivers of the difference between all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive along this trail. Despite that, the crew encountered this vehicle coming at a high rate of speed in the opposite direction. He was forced to stop as he approached the crew and got stuck. Bill pulled him out of the sand, and they continued heading toward White Pocket. It took the crew quite some time to get to the camp they had picked in the White Pocket Recreation Area. Once they arrived, they set up camp and took some time to relax and chat before nightfall.
Say hello to Jeffrey. Jeffrey the big fat mule.
You find him on the trail?
Yes.
The views at this campsite were absolutely breathtaking. The next morning, Joe set out to capture more of the beauty of the area and enjoyed some coffee and quiet reflection. The morning began with some exploration around the campsite in the White Pocket Recreation Area. There were some really awesome petroglyphs etched in the rock. We were down to 3 rigs now: our Jeep Wrangler, Kelly's Power Wagon, and Cottywomple Overland's Jeep Gladiator. And as you can imagine, there was no shortage of epic views that morning.
Look at all the writing on that rock. I wonder if it's been there for a long time or
No, that's new.
pretty new stuff.
We saw writing like that at a cave at our campsite. I couldn't read what it says though. It looks like names.
It's always disappointing to us to see people damage our public lands, whether they etch their names into rock, deface historic landmarks, leave trash at their campsite, or drive through areas that are not designated for motor vehicle use. Through our nearly 6 years of travel, we have seen so many instances of these things happening. One of our hopes is that by showing our children and your children the damage we encounter, they will work hard to ensure that our public lands and historic landmarks are protected and preserved for future generations.
It's a nice fixer-upper, huh?
Poverty Flat Ranch.
Guys, don't worry. There's still a bathtub and toilet. Oh, guys, look, there's a nest. I gotta go. There's a nest.
That's where the bird came on. Yeah.
There's eggs in it.
As you saw, this old homestead has been abandoned for many years, and the birds have moved in and made it their home. While exploring this homestead, we encountered several old buildings, a myriad of farm tools, and even an old oil well.
Like an old 56 pedal wagon down there.
Yeah, they had a substantial, I guess, oil or something, huh?
It looks like oil well there.
Yeah. There's been quite a few of these out here.
Yeah.
These towers.
Making a panel van into an overlander. There you go. Look at that. There the heck of a setup out here. Yeah, for sure. Okay, now we're in Utah. Welcome to Utah. This is the first time ever. We sure brought her in a pretty one. Yeah, sure did.
Southern Utah contains many national parks, such as Arches, Bryce Canyon, Canyonlands, and Grand Staircase Escalante. There are balanced rocks, slot canyons, and many washes in the area. The trails leading through one area called the Toadstools offer many views of balanced rock formations that resemble toadstools throughout the landscape.
There's water in that creek bed. Oh, sure is where we're at. Yep. Cottonwood Canyon's where we're at.
As the day went on, the trails turned a bit more rocky, and there were more off-camber areas to traverse. There were also steep changes in elevation and many switchbacks to come.
you through that.
What goes up must come down. Now it was time to descend.
Plenty of room, Kelly. You good on around?
At the bottom of the long climb down, the road went through a wash. There was still quite a few off-camber moments and more fun to be had. When you come up, come straight. Tony Kress from Bats Off-Road drove through the night in his Jeep Gladiator to meet up with the crew and explore for a few days. Bill and Deb Reed from Cottywomple Overland led the pack in their Jeep Gladiator, with Kelly and Tracy Letourneau following right behind in their Ram Power Wagon and Skinny Guy camper. The landscape all around them was constantly morphing into various types of rock, sand, and clay. This trail provided many off-camber situations, yet the crew had no trouble traversing the area with their rooftop tents and the Skinny Guy camper. Each new area offered endless views and an ever-evolving landscape.
You want to poke down, just let me know, and I'll stay up towards the top with my front end towards you. Okay, yeah, this is all kind of steep right here. I'm just wondering if we can't go back past where those houseboats are over there. At the very end of the cove, what do you think? Yeah, that's worth looking at.
The crew stopped by Lake Powell and debated on camping there, but decided to keep moving. The kids enjoyed a quick swim before they left the area. The crew started making their way around the northern side of Lake Powell as they searched for another campsite.
Good trail of drips here, showing up mostly on the rocks. Is that you? This looks more petroleum-ish. Kelly, where you turned around, is that a good plan B? It's awesome and flat, windy as hell, but nice. Okay, alright, we'll call that plan B.
The crew stopped at a potential campsite where the views were truly spectacular. The only problem was that the site was very exposed to the wind and would have made for a long night, so they moved on. Tony had to head back to Arkansas, so he did a few more miles of trail then departed early the next morning. Just as the sun was setting, they set camp near the Temple of the Sun and the Temple of the Moon. Bill and Deb and Joe and Josh explored through the day as they awaited Kelly and Tracy's return. Kelly and Tracy had to make a run to Salt Lake City to pick up some parts for their power wagon, and they met back up with the caravan the next day. As they were traveling along, Deb was grabbing some footage and noticed something hanging from the back of Joe's rig.
That's right. Saggy bottom Pharaoh Joe. Dragging your sack all
That song, Pants on the Ground song. You ever hear that one?
No.
Years ago.
After completing a minor repair, they were back on the trail.
Zip ties and duct tape will fix anything, right?
Right.
It's done for.
The drive slowed down as they made their way across the rocky terrain. Do you prefer New Mexico, Arizona, or Utah? Let us know in the comments. Hey everyone, want to get even more involved with our community and support what we do? Join us on Patreon. You'll get access to exclusive content like behind the scenes footage, early access to videos, members only live streams, and a chance to connect with us directly. Plus, your support helps us to continue to create the content you love.